Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Now I was going to actually do this video like after I was done with farmer's market, but then I'm all, beautified and dressed up and I look really cute, so I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and just start it. I never did farmer's market before, and it kind of like made me nervous at first to do it, and then after a few times it was working like really well for me, so I was like, okay, I'm going to continue to do it. So I would post pictures of my table, my books or whatever, and I would do a hashtag called hashtag author at farmers market. I forgot about my coffee cup. I don't want it to spill on me. Oh my gosh. So, I didn't realize I was going to do this video today. So if I'm not looking at the camera and I'm doing that, it means I'm looking at my word processor, because I've been working on this and been planning to do this video. So if I'm not looking at you and I'm like over here, I apologize. So hello everyone, I hope you all had a wonderful and safe weekend. Since I did farmers market and attending farmers market as an author, so this video will be my tips and advice for you. Spooky poo. Okay, so the first tip is to have a table and a chair. And if I were you, I would make sure that the table is lightweight. If you're going to be by yourself and you're going to have to like walk over to the farmer's market, like for me, my apartment's right here, and then the courthouse is literally like right across the street. The farmer's market was on the side of the courthouse, like on the sidewalk and in the parking lot. So I just walked over there. I just carried my things over there. And I had this little black table. It's a card table that a friend had given me like a couple years back, and a chair. And it was lightweight, so I would just carry it over there. And then another friend of mine, she gave me this big, huge, white, heavy table. And it was like really, really heavy. So I would use that for a while, and then I couldn't carry it anymore. My arms would be sore, and so my point is, make sure if you're by yourself, make sure you have either a little or just a lightweight table. But if someone is with you, if they're strong, just have them carry the big white table. I was actually carrying things by myself, so if you have someone with you that can help you carry things, God bless you, you're lucky. Tip 2 is a canopy. Now, a canopy is really good to use during events if you're going to be outside. When I first started a farmer's market, I did not have a canopy, so I was like sitting underneath this one big huge tree. And it was during the season where leaves would fall, and then I was sitting underneath this huge tree, and I didn't have the canopy because I didn't have the money at the time, and nuts would fall, leaves would fall, and I'm just like, oh, I knocked my books, and like it would land on my book, and you can actually see the marks on my book, and I was like, ah, crap. So one day I made like $40, and I went to Walmart that day, and my mom came and got me, and I went and bought a canopy for like, I think it was like $39 or something, I don't know, but it was like, so I bought one, and that was heavy, and someone suggested to me, well, why don't you just get a dolly? And I was like, well, I don't have the money right now, so I'm just gonna have to carry it. So a canopy is good for shade as well. Sometimes I would be sitting on the canopy and I would be in the shade, and the sun would move around in front of me, and I would be sitting like in the direct path of the sun, and it would be like right there. Like I would sweat and I would get sunburned. I actually did it. I don't think I had a canopy just yet, but I think it was probably the third time I did farmer's market. I was like sunburnt, like on my arm right here. I was sunburnt, like on my forehead, my cheeks, and even my chest, and even the front of my legs because I had shorts on. It was so painful. I was just like, oh my gosh, it was bad. So having a canopy is good. If you don't have one, you can ask to borrow one, and also for the table and chair. If you don't have a table and chair to use, you can also ask. That's what I had to do in the beginning. When I started doing events, I would have to ask people like, hey, can I borrow this? And I'll bring it back. And they would let me. So don't be afraid to not ask someone to use a table and a chair or even a canopy. My third tip and advice, we already talked about this a little bit, but a dolly with wheels. So that goes into carrying everything. A dolly is a really good thing to use during any type of event that you're doing. Even though I live like right here and the courthouse is right over there, because I can actually see it out my window, carrying stuff can wear you out and it can make you feel like dehydrated if it's hot outside. I did have this cart, 4-wheel cart. It's actually a laundry cart. A laundry cart. I was using that for a while, and then the damn wheel came off. Yeah, it just fell right off, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Out of all the days of the week, it had to be today. And there was people around, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. So make sure you have a sturdy dolly to put everything in to make your life easier. Okay, so this next one could save your life. So when you're attending events and you can't like leave your table to go get something to eat or whatever, I would recommend you to have like water, like a snack, like a banana. The first couple of times when I attended, I didn't take any water over there or anything to eat on. And I realized, okay, I'm going to need to take something over there. So, like, I'm just going to have to, like, tell you this story. Okay, so it was on a Tuesday. It had to have been. I think it was. Okay. So it was on a Tuesday, and it was close to 5:30. And it was really, really hot outside. It was like 80 or 90 degrees out. And I didn't have any water because I drank it all. So I started putting my books away, and I took it over to my apartment, and then I started getting really hot, and my mouth was like dry, and like I said, I ended up drinking all my water. I didn't have any more, and then all of a sudden, like, I started to feel like really lightheaded, you know, where you see black spots and you start to see the ground move in front of you and your vision is out of focus and then your stomach hurts so bad. Please don't let me pass out right now. Please just let me get all my stuff over to my apartment, and then if I want to pass out, I'll pass out on the couch or the floor. Just get me home. So, have you ever had a moment like that before? You know, that is called dehydration. And I didn't want to look like an idiot, you know, like, there was people there still, and I was trying to hurry to just try to get to my apartment. When I got into my doorway, I seriously, like, just pushed it out of my way. I could not get up those stairs fast enough. I tried to get up the stairs. I tried. So I finally got up the stairs, and then I literally just collapsed on the couch. I looked like a murdered person. That's how bad it was. My head was pounding. I was sweating. My stomach was still hurting. So I laid there for a minute and I calmed down. I was praying. I was like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I was just like, please help me. Please help me. So after I calmed down a bit, I went bowl left. The only thing I had left was the table. And there was a guy that was selling watermelon there. And he's like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, I'm just not feeling well. And he kind of just took a step back. And I said, I'm just dehydrated. And he's like, do you not have any water with you? I was like, oh, well, I drank it all. So he was nice enough. He gave me a watermelon that was already cut in half, and he had a little one cut in half, and he actually brought it over to my apartment. I went into my bedroom, and I don't want to sound weird or anything, but I was sweating so bad, I just took all my clothes off, but a bra and panties, and I laid on my bed in front of the fan. Having food with you, or having, like a snack or something, can really help you, because if you're sitting out there in the heat and you don't have any water, then you're going to start to feel sick, you're going to get dehydrated, and I wouldn't want that to happen to you. So just make sure when you're doing events, just make sure you have food and water. So the next one is, if you're doing an event outside, please make sure you have bug spray, because last week, Tuesday, I was doing the farmer's market, and this wasp was like flying around me, and it would not leave me alone. I wasn't like, going like that or trying to get it away from me. It just wouldn't leave me alone. So a few minutes later, it landed on my arm, and I still have this spot, can you see it? Right there. It landed on me, and it stung me, and I whacked it off, and the stinger was still in my skin. So I actually had to get a hold of it and pull it out, and it hurt, so bad. I wanted to cry, but I didn't. And it started to, itch. I kept itching it. It was, burning and stinging, and there was, this huge circle, right here, and there was, a little red dot. And I called my friend and told her what had happened, and she came over and gave me a bag of ice to put on it. So then the swelling started to go down, and I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Yeah, I recommend to have bug spray if you have ants or wasps, bees, whatever. I wouldn't want you to get stung or bit by anything, so just keep in mind just to have bug spray. It'll help you. There was a couple of days when I was doing farmer's market, there'd be a couple of times where it would be really slow and maybe 2 or 3 people would walk. So during events, I've noticed that it will be really fast. There would be a crowd of people coming in, and then it would be really slow. So I would recommend that you would bring a book to read, or just a notebook to write in. So I brought Wicked Curse, my novel. My advice would be to take a notebook or a book. So here's a notebook that I would take. I would just write stuff in it, as you can see. And since I'm working, it's right here, duh. Since I finished the Keeper of Souls series, the last book is done. I'm working on my new series, middle grade series. This notebook I took with me, and I was writing ideas and scenes down. And before I was doing that, here it is right here, Wicked Curse. This is the 3rd book. So I had 2 chapters left, and I was editing it and working on it, trying to get it done. So if you're working on your next book and you have a proof copy, you can take this with you. And I was displaying it too for people to look at. So I would take that, and I would take this bag here. I actually found this at Helping Hands here in my town. It's a thrift store. You can go in there, grab as much as you want, and then leave. So I found this one, and I found this one. Yeah. So I put my notebooks in there. I'll put my laptop in here. So taking stuff to write in is also a good thing. So My other tip would be make sure you have plenty of change to give to people. So if you're low on money and you're too afraid to like leave your table, it doesn't hurt to just ask another vendor. And half the time when I was doing farmers market, I would say, I want to go get some more coffee. Can you watch my table? And they would say, sure. So asking other people to watch your table isn't a bad thing. So just make sure you have plenty of change, money to give back to people. And if you have the square, I don't know if any of you know what that is, but it's like a square. You just put it in your phone. You scan your card. If you have that, just use that for now. And my other advice would be, if you're low on money, I would go over to the bank and get that out of the way and done, because sometimes I would see people here, sometimes I would see them leave and go to the bank, though, and that's not a bad thing either. My other tip would be to have plenty of books. The Wish, I am really low on these books now, so I gotta order more. I have plenty of Awakened Evil. It's like a real high stack, like over there. So if you're doing a farmer's market, probably 4 or 5 weeks or even a month before, I would stock up on them. My poetry book, Home, it's about my childhood growing up in the country around chickens and cats and dogs and cows, and my dad, Charlie, that I lost. This book was selling out. I kept running low, so I had to keep ordering more, and I'm still running low, so just make sure you order plenty of books before the event and just stock up on them as much as you can. My next tip would be to check the weather. I'm only saying this because I've had a few experiences with rain and the heat, as you've heard earlier. If you're doing a farmer's market outside and it's going to rain, just make sure you have a canopy and have like some type of tarp to shield the slide. I didn't have one of those, but I seen another, I think her name was Kathy, and she was selling Color Street. It's fingernail polish things, so like strips. You just clean your finger off and then you just put the strip on. I'm going to be carrying things across the street. Like, I remember one day, it wasn't pouring down. It was like sprinkling, but it wasn't really bad. I actually had to put my books in a tote, and thank God I had a tote. And I just put all my stuff in there, and then I would just carry it over. So if you're outside, just make sure you have a canopy, and make sure you cover your stuff so it doesn't get wet. So just check the weather, and like, if it's going to be really hot outside, make sure you have sunscreen. Make sure you have plenty of water. If it's going to be cold outside, like last time, it was like 40 degrees outside, and I had a heavy-duty sweatshirt and pants on, but I was like cold, and I had to put my gloves on, and I was sitting there like this, and I had a blanket wrapped around me. Yeah, so if you're doing a farmer's market towards like in October or November, I don't know about November, but you know what I mean. Just make sure you have a jacket, to stay warm, or even like a little cozy blanket just to put on your lap, just to make sure you keep warm. Or if it's 90 degrees outside, just have like a fan, like a little handheld fan, and blow it on you, I guess. I don't have one of those, so I guess I better invest in one of those. The first couple of times when I did farmer's market, I don't think I had like any signs whatsoever. I'm trying to save up money to buy signs like a banner. A banner would be a good thing to use because, you can have it on there, say like author, romance writer, sci-fi writer, or you can have the cover of your book. A couple of times where people would like walk up to my table and they'll say, "What are you selling?" And I'm just like, oh, shoot. So having signs that say author would be a good thing, or whatever product or whatever you're selling. Just make sure you have a sign to let people see from afar of what you're next video.